I am Hazel O. Cruzat, from AMT1-1. The objectives of this experiment are, to explain why the raisins sink and float in the glass with water, baking soda and vinegar. Also to know how long did raisins bounce inside the glass and how long did all raisins float in the water. Keywords: sink, to go below the surface of the water. Float, to stay on or above the surface of the water. Observing, using our senses to gather information. Density, how compact the molecules of an object are. Buoyancy, the upward force of an object that is produced by the fluid or air that object is placed in. The materials that I used in this experiment were a jar, water, vinegar, food coloring, baking soda, raisins, ball pen, index card, and camera. Step 1. Fill the jar with water and vinegar. Be sure to leave some space above the glass. Step 2. Gently add a teaspoon of baking soda, very slowly. Too many at one time and it's all bubbles on top. Step 3. When the bubbles settle, slowly add a second teaspoon of baking soda. Step 4. When the bubbles have settled, add a few drops of food coloring. Notice that the liquid moves and quickly mixes with the color. Step 5. Prepare the raisins or rice to be used in the experiment. Check if it will sink or float. Step 6. Drop some of the first items. Often they will sink to the bottom. Wait a few minutes, and then they will rise to the surface, then sink again.
Five minutes later.
A few hours later.
I conclude that when the vinegar and baking soda were combined, a chemical reaction occurred. It generates carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide bubbles are formed when baking soda and vinegar react with water. These are the same bubbles found in a carbonated beverage. While many raisins sink in water, the carbon dioxide bubbles in our combination slowly accumulate on the raisin's surface. When enough bubbles develop, the raisins float to the surface, releasing carbon dioxide gas. The object will then sink to the bottom of the jar until enough carbon dioxide bubbles form for it to rise again. Furthermore, the more surface area a thing has in contact with water, the more likely it is to float. This is known as buoyancy. The water is pushing down on the raisins, and the raisins are pushing up on the water. The jar eventually floats and stops bouncing as the raisins settle within. Because it becomes less thick than water, it floats.